So I'm going to pick up where I left off on the paint correction fixes, that's what you want to call it, on the 2003 Ford Expedition XLT. I got a touch-up pen, just went down the passenger side. There's a lot of scratches down the side, so I had keyed the vehicle prior to my ownership, and it sat that way for a while, and so it began to rust. So got that taken care of. There's some spots on the roof that I need to handle today. Get this fly out of my face and we'll get started. Climbing up on top of the vehicle here, you can see my dilemma. Got a couple of pretty big spots here, and then along the body seam here there's some kind of rust that goes down the way here. So I'm gonna try to take care of some of that. Just gonna take some sandpaper to it, try to get it down to where I can knock all the rust, surface rust off of it, and I'm not worried about body filler or anything like that. Just gonna get some primer on it and just spray it with some body color and call it good. So if you haven't figured it out by now, this is by no means a professional paint correction. This is just me trying to get this thing to look a little bit decent from where it was. Just want to try to stop the rust and get some color back on it to make it look a little more uniform. Not really thinking you guys might learn any professional techniques here. Not worried about that. This is going to show you just about how I go about fixing the paint on this thing. If you want to take something away from it, go right ahead. If you learn something good, great. You probably will look at this and say, that's the way not to do it. And I'm okay with that too. All right, got my ladder, got my sandpaper. I've got 80, 100, 120, 220, and I got some finer grit. I'm not too worried about the finer grit. I just want to get the scale off of there. Probably a lot faster if I had some air tools. I don't. So this is what I got. Patches of sandpaper and some elbow grease. So, got some rust in the back there on the channel too. Nice. All right, let's get at it. Got a pretty nice day today. The last time I was out here doing this, it was like 1,000 degrees. So we actually have some cool temperatures. So we'll see how she goes. See, that's doing a pretty decent job getting the scale off there. I'm just going to keep going until I get to some shiny. Getting there. This is kind of a before and after kind of a deal. Just trying to get as much of that out as I can. Trying to get as shiny as I can so I can put some primer on it, lock it in. So keep it on, making some progress. All right, progress has been made. Got these down to some bare metal. Got to this channel here, and this construction shim works great just to do flat against this and really kind of knock that down real quick. So that's pretty cool. I think what I'm going to do is just try to attack this front part of the truck first, see how this all goes down, get my learning curve out of the way, and then I'll work on getting the channels on both sides and then try to get that rusty spot in the back. Pretty much got the main ones down to metal. Got a little bit more to do on those too, but the old arm's getting tired. So I got the roof sanded down, got some primer here. I'm getting ready to shoot, and once I get that on there, a couple coats, I'll let it dry, and then we'll shoot the color on there. I've got some Duplicolor Perfect Match Silver Birch is what my truck calls for. So I'm going to shoot a couple coats of this on there and let that dry. And as it's drying, I think I'm going to go to the back of the truck and start working on sanding those areas down. Once I get that done, shoot this on there, and I can go put color on the front. So let's get to it. Got my tester / masking board here. Make sure I don't get anything on my glass here, I guess. That's a terrible job. Perfect. Let that dry. Probably come back and sand her down a little bit, try to get some of that overspray down so it's not so ugly. Yeah, it's on the roof. Who's gonna look at it anyway? That stuff comes out quick. As you can tell, I don't paint much. But looks like this should do the trick and help me stop the rust. Forgot a spot. This should do the trick to help stop the rust at least. Throw some color over top of it and call it good. I'm gonna let that dry. Then I'm gonna go down this channel, get the rust off, down the other channel, and then work on that spot in the back. So here's the back of the truck. Had a little faded spot here that had some surface rust popping up, so I got it. Got the big piece back here, a little bit more sanding to do on that. I've got to get down the channel on both sides. Oop, got some spots there too. Just now noticed that. Great. This is aluminum, so I'm not really going to be sanding on this or primering it. I'm just going to, as I put color down, I'm just going to cover right over it. And then I got to get that channel down on that side, so more to do. All right, so I got the primer sprayed. Went ahead and masked off those channels. Used my masking board as well, try to keep the paint from getting over on that side, but she's ugly. But hopefully this final color match paint I'm gonna put on there will mask it. I doubt it, but at least the rust is gone. All right, so I got the roof primered. I've got the surface area kind of cleaned up, ready for some paint. I'm just going to try to do some light coats just to cover the primer, and then I'll come back over it with some heavier coats later. But just that next step closer. So made sure that the area is kind of free from grease, and sprayed some cleaner on there. Got all the surrounding dust and stuff off around the paint areas. I didn't wash the whole roof, but anyway, I'm gonna shake this thing up and get my silver birch metallic on there. See how she does. I'm gonna start kind of here in the middle, see how this looks before I go to the areas that are a little bit more visible on the vehicle. Speaking of vehicles, I moved cars out of the way, make sure I'm not getting any overspray on anything. If I get anything on the glass, I can clean that up, but I'm not worried about that. So let's get to it. These have that specific like spray nozzle where it'll shoot like a V pattern out and make sure you're pointing it the right direction. I got my cardboard here. I'm gonna test it out. All right, here we go. There goes nothing. Definitely a brighter silver than what's on the roof. I don't know if you can really tell from the camera, but I don't know if it's just the primer underneath it, such a light coat. We'll get some more coats on there to find out for sure, but it's definitely shiny. So I'm getting some waft of clouds with overspray. I'm gonna move the cars even further away. I don't want any silver on the other cars. She's got the color in the channels. the little grooves here, little coves, and across the back. It's not really blending very well. It's showing up a little bit more silver than the other, and it's really streaky, but I plan on getting a buffing wheel and maybe some compound or whatever and just hitting it. Maybe that'll take some of the excess, you know, overspray off. Maybe not. This is probably a lesson in what not to do, but like I said, I'm just trying to get the rust taken care of. As long as it's not really showing up terribly badly with rust spots, I'm okay with it. Well, I had to bring the truck in because it's raining outside and it's kind of hindering my light here, seeing what I'm doing. But I was able to shoot paint body color into the channel. I got across the back there, I got across that channel. I was able to do these little coves here at the front. As you can see, the color is not a perfect match. So she's streaking worse than a fat guy running across the football field. But I even got some overspray on the glass, but just some paint thinner took care of that. So it's sprinkling out. I don't want to back the truck back out to see where I'm at because I don't want to get anything wet. Looks like I'm getting some overspray on my roof rack here. But I think what I'm going to do, got some polishing compound. I don't know if that'll help me smooth that out at all. Probably not, but I'm not too worried about it because mostly my wife is going to be driving this thing, and she's short, so this will probably be her view, so I ain't too worried about it. Might go back through and try to hit it with another coat of paint just to get a little bit more coverage on it, and then that way I'll have something to sand off. I'm trying to blend the paint here eventually. Here she is from a different angle. Not great, but at least the rust has been taken care of. Down in the channel here. A little spot I need to touch up. I think that's going to do it. Let's see how much terrible overspray lines and masking lines I got. Not too shabby. I let the tape kind of just freely float over the line, so I didn't get a hard line. I got kind of a soft line as the aerosol went floating around in the air in the channel here. Sorry for the lighting. I'm in the garage here. It's not very good. That's the primer overspray. I'm going to try to figure out how to get that off. I did a pretty decent job of keeping that from getting paint on it. Sweet. I know the lighting is terrible and you're probably not seeing it very well, but I'm really pleased with the channel. Covered really well. Was able to get the rust knocked off. Again, for just a do-it-yourself paint correction, not even really paint correction, just do it yourself. Just try to get some rust off and turn out pretty decent. There's the channel on this side. There was the rust that was there. It's covered up down this groove here. Probably need to shoot some more paint into this one. Looks like some of that dark gray primer still showing up. I probably didn't hit that one very well. All right, so it's the next day. I got the rust off the roof. Resprayed the roof panels. Resprayed the areas that I sanded, primed it, painted it. I'm gonna take a look at it now that we got full sun today. It's not gonna rain. That all passed us yesterday. So let's get up on top here and see how the new spray paint turned out. All right, so this is what full sun on it. You can kind of see some glow where the spray was. I am not at all mad at any of this results. I'm actually quite happy with it. Again, this is not a step-by-step how-to on how to do this. By no means am I a paint and body guy. I'm more of a mechanic kind of a person. So for what little I understand about paint and body, it actually turned out better than I was expecting. I did go to Harbor Freight, got a electric buffer and some polishing, some cut and compound, whatever. I'm just going to try to put that on there and see if I can get some of this glow to kind of go away. See if I can get some of that to kind of disappear a little bit, just to kind of keep it in the channels. What I'm going to do now is going to go get my buffing wheel. I'm going to get some compound. I'm going to see if I can mess with this spot first, just see what I can come up with. These roof racks are movable, so I'm going to take that one and slide it up here towards the front so I can have some room to get at that. But first things first, I got to wipe it down, clean it, so I'm not digging any dirt into it, and then we'll try the compound. So I got the cheapest polisher I could find. This was like 35 bucks. I'm sure it'll last a long time. Got some rags, some more painter's tape, lots more primer, and I bought these 7-inch medium pads. That's more of a medium, this is a fine. Let's get this out of the box, get her plugged in, see if I can get some of that paint to look a little bit better on the roof. Alright, so I've got some rubbing compound for cutting and finishing. Went with these because, well, they were the cheapest ones on the shelf. And then got my polisher from Harbor Freight. Again, I went with this because it was the cheapest one on the shelf. It's got variable speed, and that's about it. It's not oscillating, just a spinner. It's got the hook and loop on it. Let's put it on there. They say to put 4 dime sized, that's more than a dime, it's more like a quarter. Spot the compound on there. And just lay her flat and let her eat. So here we go. Alright, what speed am I on? Max? Nope, don't want that. Get her down to min. It's a little hard to do on a ladder. Alright, so I've been after this for a few minutes. You can see where I'm getting the kind of the overspray off of that. This was quite large, and I'm kind of whittling it down. This had a lot over here, and it's got this little strip left. So the compound's working. Just taking a little bit of time to get to it. So just taking a little bit of time to kind of eat through it. Just Make sure I'm applying enough compound. I don't want to burn the clear coat. Since I didn't wet sand this before I applied paint, this paint is just sitting on top of clear coat, so I'm hoping this just comes off quickly. So far it seems to be doing the trick. It's taking its time to get through it. Not as fast as I would like it, but it's working. So medium pad and clean cut. This is probably not aggressive enough, but this pad seems to be doing just fine. We'll just keep at it. All right, see where it took the glow overspray off. Nice and smooth now too, actually. So if you look real close, you can see where the spray was, and then where I just took it off the edge, where the pad's not able to get down this little recess. So this is a little slightly darker than that. That's okay. Get a little bit of that overspray here that I need to get off yet, and then of course this back, work on that up there. You can see the kind of the glow. Getting there. Tested this spot first just to make sure, and I'm pretty happy with it. So once I get to the front, all those glows will be out of the way, so that when you're standing, you know, on the eye level, you won't see because you can kind of see the glow where the overspray was. I'm gonna try to get that knocked out, so when you're standing down below, you're not really able to see that. Not that you would probably really notice it anyway, but I will, since I've been up here working on it. Now, it's likely really hard to see, but got the overspray taken care of on the back. So, time to move on to the front and call the top done. I think what I'm gonna do, if you saw previously, I had all these keyed scratches, and I'm gonna hit that with the compound too, see if I can kind of get some of that smooth out a little bit. I know it won't, because it's not smooth into the scratch, but maybe I could take the top stuff that's sitting on the surface and get that a little bit more smooth. But onto the top, on the before shot, you see all the glows on there. See if I can get that out. See where this has still got some overspray on it, but this one and that one are getting better. I'm gonna have to stop on these two, because unfortunately I'm starting to kind of burn through my repair and getting back down to what was underneath it. So gotta shut her down here and here. I got a touch-up pen, just gonna go around and touch those up. Not too worried about that. A little bummed that that's what's happening, but I got the majority of it off. I'm gonna stop. I don't want to keep going on that. I'm gonna go after those 3 lines on that side, and I still have this front one here to do. These two, I'm gonna shut her down. Well, the proverbial stopping while you were ahead bit me. Burned right through the repair I had on that little spot there. This is the overspray. You can see I'm trying to get through that, and it just went clear through. There's still some glow here. I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead, count my losses on that. So definitely learned some things about polishing compound and buffing wheels and all that. So I think I'm just gonna stop. I got most of what I wanted off, and like I said, you really can't see too much of it. I'm gonna go ahead and get all this splatter off the roof with my rag here, and I've got a little bit of a touch-up pen. I'm just gonna hit these with some touch-up pen and call it good. All right, so I hit it with the touch-up pen. I actually found a couple spots in the middle that I completely missed. So I used the touch-up pen to scratch them off, get the rust off, and hit them with a pen. I think now what I'm going to do is just take my buffing wheel and see if I can go after this a little bit, see if I can do anything with it at all. Probably make it worse, but at least want to give it a try. All right, got the panel washed, dried. See what she does. Hopefully I don't make it worse. All right, it's taken some of the paintbrush strokes out of it, and it's starting to look a little bit more smooth, which isn't bad, but it doesn't look much better than where I started. Like I said, it's taking some of the brush strokes out and starting to make it look a little bit shiny even. About what I expected. I might go over it a couple more times. These were the most aggressive scratches. And this one down here is pretty bad. So I might just hit this door and it shines it up a little bit. May have to just go ahead and do it because this door's looking a little dull. All right, so same thing, just took some of the brush strokes out of it. I knew it wasn't gonna, well, what am I doing, baby? Am I cleaning the truck? All right. I knew it wasn't gonna take those down much, but anything, brought some shine to the door. Pretty happy with that. Thank you, baby. They had spray painted this, and there was a little spot here that has some splatter overspray on it, where a tape line was. That took that right off. Noticed that when I was down here scrubbing. I'm gonna hit this again, see if I can get these to come down a little bit more. Still kind of raised off the surface a little bit. I noticed that there were some just light surface scratches, some swirls around here. It took those out. Pretty nice. So I'll run over these spots again. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just go on down the door and the fender. I'm on a roll. Wasn't expecting to do this, but it's brought some shine to the car that I wasn't quite expecting, so that's a bonus. Probably on camera this all looks exactly the same as what you've been seeing, but I am noticing, more shine coming out of the side. I went ahead and went down the entire length of the vehicle, to the fender. I even did the hood. I thought, while I'm at it, I'll get a wild hair. I'll see if I can do these headlights. This is one I have not done yet. You can see how it's kind of foggy across the top. Here's the one I just polished. I see it, buddy. And you can see that it had the same fog at the top, but it's now pretty much gone. I can still see a bunch of little spider cracks and scratches and stuff in it, so it's not a perfect fix, but I'll tell you what, did shine that lens up a little bit, so I'm gonna hit that other one over here and call it good. It's getting dark out, so it's hard to see, as usual. They're definitely not as yellow. They're still a little bit cloudy, but that did make a pretty good improvement. Well, we're done. My camera battery died, so I didn't catch step 2 of the buffing process. Changed to a light wheel and used polishing compound and went over the side and the hood and the headlamps that got the cutting compound. I did not run polishing compound on the roof because I didn't want to. I'm really tired. This concludes the exterior rejuvenation of the 03 Ford Expedition. Took care of the rust on the roof, on the passenger side door panels, and got it all painted up, polished, and ready to go. So happy to have that done. It's been kind of eating at me ever since I bought this vehicle that there's been rust just kind of sitting there. Glad that I got it done. This was by no means a professional restoration on the paint job. This was just a rejuvenation, rust remediation project. Just really wanted to put the rust at bay. So as you can see on the walk around, still see the scratches where someone had keyed the vehicle and it turned into rust. I had to go in deep with the repair there. Again, I'm not a professional body guy. That's obvious. You saw the video. But just wanted it to be a good 10-footer, 20-footer, 25-footer paint job, and just glad that the rust has been taken care of. Thanks for watching the channel. If you're so inclined, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell when new content comes out. And as always, God bless. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.